This is week 3 podcast by Crystal Jeffers
Mm,
to talk about the Kingdom of Jerusalem. The purpose of
mm,
this assignment is to identify why Jerusalem is holy
mm,
for both Christians and Muslims and what core
mm,
beliefs or values are tied to each of those significant
mm,
places. So, first, please excuse my snoring dog.
mm,
Um, for Christians, Jerusalem is the
mm,
physical place where Jesus Christ ministered. Constantine's
mm,
mother built churches there in the 4th century for Jesus to do that.
mm,
He died and rose again in Jerusalem.
mm,
For Muslims, this was the first
mm,
Qibla, which is a place toward which all Muslims
mm,
turn in prayer. And this place was
mm,
identified by Muhammad, the prophet, um, and I found that
mm,
in my Quran, chapter 2, verse 142. Um,
mm,
Jerusalem translates to the noble sacred place.
mm,
And within Jerusalem, you have the Temple Mount or the Harim
mm,
al Sharif, which is a massive stone plaza. It's in the southeast corner of Jerusalem.
mm,
And there are like palms and cypress trees around it. It's significant to both religions, and it's thought to be where Mount Moriah is, or it is. And this is the place where Abraham sacrificed his son Isaac to God. For Muslims, Harim el Sharif, which is then translates to noble sanctuary, is the third holiest site in Islam after Mecca and Medina in Saudi Arabia. The rock under the dome is where Prophet Muhammad left Earth to visit heaven on a winged horse during a night's journey in the 7th century. It's also held to be where the direction of prayer before Muhammad changed it to Mecca. For Christians, the Temple Mount is significant because the Jewish temple located here is where Jesus prayed daily and later preached with his disciples. The Jewish aspect of Christianity and how they kind of break it from the Old to the New Testament was a little confusing for this assignment. So forgive me for misspeaking if I am, because I don't necessarily um, know when the cutoff is from the Jews to the Christians, besides the whole Jesus thing, of course. Then there's the Wailing Wall. For Muslims, it's called the Western Wall or the Buraq Wall, Buraq, and this is where Muhammad tied his winged horse. Um, the Stone of Antigone is found at the entrance where Jesus was anointed before his burial. Up the stairs to the right is the Calvary, and this is the hill where Jesus was crucified. Beneath the crucifixion altar is said to be where he uh, had his cross raised. Under the main rotunda, there is the Atticul. I don't know how to say that properly. But anyway, it was a chapel built over the tomb of Jesus, and it holds the angel stone. Um, so it was the stone used basically to close Jesus's tomb. Sorry. Um, okay. Then we have, um, and now we talk really more about um, some core beliefs. Core beliefs for Christians and Muslims are slightly different to tie directly to Jerusalem. What I could find for core beliefs with Christians outside of where Jesus was born, resurrected, where he worshipped, and where Abraham sacrificed his son. It just talks about core beliefs, period, and they're just like all words they kind of get into some detail, but for the sake of our assignment, we just go over, grace, faith, love, justice, joy, service, and peace. And all of these kind of date back to God being able to travel into the future and know, what is going to come, and so us having faith and the meaning of love is unconditional, and this is known through Jesus Christ. So without Him, we wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have hope. We wouldn't have faith. So their core values seem to be tied all to the birth, life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and of course that all that ended anyway in Jerusalem. So for the Islamic beliefs, though, which I thought was easier to understand, maybe, is that they have several. They have several like different or 6 articles of faith. To believe in one God, believe in angels, believe in the prophet, believe in the revealed books of God, the day of judgment, and the day of destiny. They have 5 pillars of Islam that are all tied to Muhammad, which is basically the declaration of faith, daily prayer, which would be tied to which direction you face. Now it's Mecca, it used to be Jerusalem. The Saka, which is a type of charity. Muslims recognize that all wealth is a blessing and that certain responsibilities are required to be returned. And then, of course, the fast of Ramadan. And finally, the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. And so at this time, we aren't doing the pilgrimages to Jerusalem. They were still doing they were only doing the pilgrimage to Mecca. So, thought that was interesting. So, the core values, like I kind of simplified for Christianity. For Islam, it would just be Islamic law or Sharia law. And basically, the first one is the law of preservation. Requires religion, life, family, mind, and wealth. It's also talked about that some suggest justice or liberty as a 6th category. And the one thing that I found most interesting here that I read was in my Quran, it says that it is within the word itself, Islam, to serve, worship, and lovingly submit to God. And I guess that's how you would tie their core beliefs to Jerusalem. I'm sorry. So I thought that was interesting. So to wrap it up, the significance of Jerusalem for both religions basically is attached to their prophets. Jesus Christ for the Christians, Muhammad for the Muslims, and both were born other places but died or ascended to heaven in Jerusalem. Both places are worshipped for that reason. Both places were, both prophets spoke and ministered to the people there. And that's why it's significant to both religions. So for the sake of time, thank you. This is Crystal Jeffers talking about the Kingdom of Jerusalem for week 3.